India, training with David, it's obviously less commotions going on. You have less access to like internet and cell phone and stuff, so you're just less distracted. And after some days or weeks, just everything, life is just calmer. Your mind is calmer. And then on top of that, all these yoga practices or whatever, you actually get bored. You're bored as shit. And I think a lot of his elaborate techniques or elaborate, the spotlight imagery is very precise. And you could almost get bored doing it, but it's like when you're really bored and you have nothing else to do, you realize how intense it can be. Like how big of a vessel for your attention the spotlight imagery technique can be. You can really pour a lot of attention into the spotlights, and it's like a bottomless pit. You just keep going deeper inside until experiences seem to happen, and so it's samyama. And that level of like, because the posture isn't the goal. It's clearly not the goal. Once you have you've experienced samyama, then the posture is clearly not the goal. Like you were literally, I'm going to use this posture as a gateway to a state of mind. And whether it's seated, Janu Sirsasana, or standing, or laying on your side, or standing near a wall with your leg up on the wall and just running through your spotlights, it's like, there's not much glory in this pose. Like it doesn't look that glorified, and there's a wall there, but the inner experience is like, I would not exchange this experience for a glorified pose that disturbs this experience. And so this appreciation for the experience becomes tremendous. And then achievements start happening because you just stop giving a fuck about them. And I said to somebody the other day, I was like, he was talking about dating or something. Oh yeah, it was a guy in IMC meetup in Houston. And he was talking about being friends, like girls kept putting him in the friend zone or something. And I said something like willingness to walk away, like you just gotta, if that's not what you want, she needs to feel you walk away and then she'll reconsider. But you also need to know that she might say, well, that's a shitty friend. But she might say, oh, I'm feeling attraction for him now more than a friend. That might happen if you walk away from a relationship that's not on your terms. But when I said that, like the willingness to walk away without explaining all of that, he was like, yeah, I could just be like, fuck you, and I don't know what. That was his response. He wasn't as socialized. And I was like, yeah, but that's the same thing as you're attracted to her, but now you just flipped it and became like aggressive towards her, or passive aggressive. The walking away means neither. It means you're willing to sever any feelings here because there's a lot out here that is also worthy of your feelings, And so the willingness to walk away is the willingness to take it or leave the pose, because the integrity inside, the experience of this integrity is, that's really what you're going to carry with you. You're going to hold the feeling of your integrity to much further to the end, closer to, I can't say it's going to go all the way with you, beyond even, but it's going to go further than an Instagram picture will, or a physical picture, or anything like that, the inner experience. So the inner integrity, meaning like whole or aligned, with your philosophy and that. So the handstand, not only is the spotlight imagery useful, it's just doing this and going through your spotlights. Literally, and it will help you to do that. I do a lot of that, especially around rib 1 and the palate. I'm just like shifting, and that whole command of neck down and forward, and upper spine up and back, especially throat down and forward. And then pushing the thoracic up and back. Like that's a heart opener extraordinaire. And so I see you're reaching with the top leg. Mm-hmm. And you're bringing the other leg, and you're practicing good patience, bringing them together, because that's the trick. And the fear of going too far this way. More confidence in finger strength. Mm-hmm. No, hold it right on your arm where it was. Like you were like this. Mm-hmm. And now, finger strength. See, the finger's giving. Finger strength. Yeah, see, it's kind of, come on screen a little bit. So, yeah, see, give. Like, see how mine is?
Mm-hmm.
Make yours like mine. See, it's just on one knuckle. Make it like mine. See, too much effort. You don't have to give so much. I'm only giving the effort that you're giving. You know?
Mm-hmm.
See, it's a lot of effort. So reduce the effort. So it's just curl the finger so every knuckle is just slightly engaged. Equally engaged. Do all 4 fingers. Too much effort. Yes. Flirt with that effort. And that's the intelligence of the fingers, even if they're extended, but each knuckle could be engaged. We don't need to get too precise. I'm not like Iyengar and I don't even know how Iyengar was. I'm just saying as an analogy. I don't need to get too deep into it, but fingers are there, palm is there, and then spotlights or whatever you're doing with your alignment. Tuck your tailbone down and forward, shoulders up and back, and pointing the toes. And then hovering your attention on the experience that you're having of whatever you've had a spotlight experience.
Mm-hmm.
And so putting your attention on that inner experience, and the legs will come together. Because the experience is largely, it's, in my opinion, a relationship with gravity. Like somehow we're tuning into an exact like the other day, you were so tired, you were kind of waving around almost.
Mm-hmm.
That was an unconscious relationship with gravity. It was sleepwalking. And to really relate with gravity is the opposite. It's sleep, it's waking. Sleepwalking, it'd be wake walking. You're just being awake, So with your handstand, because it's too easy to just say, have more patience. It's like the exercise we were doing, balancing on one foot.
Mm-hmm.
It's not take the foot away. You can do it because you're so good at balancing on your feet.
Mm-hmm.
It's lean, push through the arm, and lean oh so slowly, reach through the finger until the other foot comes up. And so it's lean from the wall, but you're reaching out and leaning, and you're okay with that, and you're using the heel of your hand on one side and the fingers on the other. And so you're pushing through the heel of your hand to come off the wall and reach and lean and inner experience. And the thing will happen, you'll get buck fever. Buck fever is when I was a hunter, and the first time you see a big buck, you're like, oh, it's a big animal and it's got big horns, and you have a gun and you're gonna eat it, and it's like, but I don't know what it is. And the first time it happened to me, the deer was running over the hill, and I was sitting on the north side of the tree, and my dad was on I guess that'd be the west side of the tree, and he's running over the hill, and he runs probably 15, 20 feet in front of me, fast, and I'm like, a buck! And I was like 12 or 13, and that was a story that night at the lodge with all the guys. Chris got his first buck fever, and so you'll have that handstand fever. As soon as, you're already glimpsing it, but it's different when you, legs together, squeeze, point, alignment, effortlessness, right then it'll be, I'm doing it! Ugh. And so the practice is keep your attention on that experience. Who was it? There was some famous yogi that was like, ecstasy or nirvana or bliss is a distraction. It's beyond that. It's it's indifference to that. And so there's something else, some almost intellectual, because bliss is like a feeling. It's non-intellectual. And you know that because it's one of those things that we clearly can say the word doesn't fully define it. Like love. Love is a feeling because the logic can't totally, you get close. And so there's something beyond the bliss, and it's more conscious, more awake posture. And then, it's a playing because you do want to get credit for getting that. You want to take a picture like you would. And so how do you balance the want to take the picture with the reverence for what you're experiencing? And this is like social yoga. This is where I'm coming into the scene, and I'm like, how do you go into the world being proud of your achievement and your effort, and at the same time, too much pride in that achievement in the moment, you don't achieve. And if you have pride here but not here, you polarize yourself. And I look at that, and that's where my research is. Really, I think that's my brand. That's maybe everybody's doing it, but I'm looking at it. Everybody was trying to make tasty food, but the first person that started to measure their ingredients probably got really good at it. because that's, systematizing it, and the mind works well with compartmentalized variables that it can manipulate and organize. The mind is very much algebraic, how it works like that. It's like language is, syntax is just variables, verb plus adjective, whatever it is, equals sentence, equals phrase, equals paragraph, whatever, anyway. Namaste.